It's the end of the week and it's payday. I've got rent to pay, gifts to get, and of course, coffees to buy. There's a lot going on for us every month, so it's hard to know what to do with your paycheck. I'm a qualified accountant, and today I'm going to take you through the 8 steps to take when you get paid for the perfect payday routine. This isn't going to be a surface level payday routine video where I tell you to save 20% and use various arbitrary percentages to base your expenses off of. This will follow an 8-step approach that I genuinely use, backed by years of experience in the finance industry, as well as using the advice of industry experts, so make sure you follow along to implement these steps into your payday routine. Step 1 is to set a financial baseline. I start by reviewing my budget against last month's actuals in terms of my fixed costs and income. It's just my salary, rent, utilities, and groceries, with this not fluctuating almost at all due to my full-time job having no monthly fluctuations apart from a one-time annual bonus. I can set a solid financial baseline of what I can expect to have to spend after my core expenses are covered this way. By setting a financial baseline like this and visualizing it, it really takes the pressure off by having a solid base to work from. This ideally should be no more than 50% of your total income. If it's more, you might want to consider downsizing the apartment or mortgage, but the less I talk about this, the better. Effectively, I'm now working with $1,850 for 2 weeks after my core expenses. You might think we'd move on to start planning our additional expenses next, but no. Let's move on to the next and most important step, which is debt reduction. The Federal Reserve's report highlights that the average credit card APR is around 16.28%. You know where this is going. If you have credit card debt to pay it. You absolutely have to be prioritizing this. There is no financial decision more lucrative than paying off your high interest credit card debt. No investment you make is better. Look at it this way. If you're paying the minimum payment on your debt, you could be looking at an APR of 16% on the remaining balance. I can assure you that putting any excess money above this amount into high yield savings, the stock market or crypto, you will not get a consistent rate above 16%. If it does, then call me. Not to mention the psychological benefits of paying off your debt, but that's a video for another time. Bottom line is, high interest debt comes first. Now let's move on to step 3, which is paying yourself first. A shocking statistic from Bankrate shows that 20% of Americans save nothing from their income, and 56% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency expense with their savings. To counteract this, I automate transferring a set percentage, typically around 20% of my income, into various savings accounts and stocks. This includes an emergency fund, which according to financial experts should cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So take your financial baseline, multiply it by 6, and that's your realistic emergency fund. Of course, once you hit this, it never hurts to still allocate a certain percentage of your cash to this savings account to remain liquid and flexible above just your base emergency fund. You can see that I've allocated $500 to savings and $200 to the S&P 500 through investing apps, which brings me on to step 4, investing. Step 4 is about making money work for you. Historical data from the S&P Global Market Intelligence indicates that the average stock market return over 10 years is roughly 13.9%. Therefore, if you've made it through to this stage with excess funds consistently, it's definitely worth considering to allocate a part of your paycheck to diversified investments like index funds. The key here is to use 2 things to make you rich: time and compound interest. Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it." To put it in simpler terms, an average of around 10% a year isn't that exciting, but if you left just $20,000 completely alone for just 20 years, you would come back to $135,000. When you play this out with more time or more money, things start to get crazy. An important note here is that I'm working with my post-tax and post-deduction income, so the amounts you're seeing don't account for the amount invested in my company 401k and Roth IRA plan. These are tax-advantaged pension schemes where your employer will often match up to a certain percentage of what you pay, so I ensure I'm leaving no money on the table here and maxing this out. I'll create a separate video on this soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. It's an important one. Step 5 is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost isn't just a business concept, it affects our daily decisions. For example, spending hours cleaning your home or managing basic tasks could be time spent on activities that generate income or provide significant personal value. Here's where strategic outsourcing comes in. Economists argue that if you can earn more per hour than it costs to hire someone for a task, it makes financial sense to outsource it. For instance, if you earn $50 per hour and a cleaning service costs $25 per hour, you're theoretically gaining $25 for every hour you hire out that work, not to mention no longer having to do the tasks you don't enjoy. You can see this done to a very small extent in my budgeting plan. I pay a YouTube thumbnail artist sporadically when I can't find time or anticipate struggling to bring together a thumbnail concept for a video. This saves me a lot of time, and whilst it doesn't immediately pay me back due to me making no money from this channel, it frees me up to work on higher leverage tasks like my day job, where I can earn this money back in a relatively low amount of time. Step 6 is decision fatigue. Decision fatigue refers to the deteriorating quality of decisions made by an individual after a long session of decision making. It's well documented in psychology, with studies showing that the more choices we make, the more we deplete our mental energy, leading to poorer quality decisions later on.
Mark Zuckerberg wears the same thing every day for the same reason. Even President Obama only wears blue or gray suits, saying, "I don't want to make decisions about what I'm wearing because I have too many other decisions to make."
You've got to be choosy about choosing.
Dr. Sheena Iyengar, who studies choice making, says it's a smart move.
You want to cut down on the number of decisions you're making per day so that you have the energy it takes to focus on the ones that matter a lot.
By automating savings and recurring payments, we reduce the number of decisions we need to make regarding our finances. A study by the American Psychological Association found that automating savings leads to a higher rate of savings among individuals. The idea is to set it and forget it, allowing your financial plan to work in the background without daily input. Automating your finances is also simple. Most banks and financial institutions offer automated transfers to savings accounts and automatic bill pay services. In my Payday routine, I have automated transfers to my savings, investment accounts, and for bill payments. This ensures that I don't have to think about a single thing when it comes to making the smart long-term financial decisions, and I can't talk myself out of saving. In step 7, I plan for major upcoming expenses. Whether it's a vacation or a new appliance, I start setting aside a portion of each paycheck into a dedicated savings account for this purpose. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau suggests this method to avoid reliance on credit cards, which, although when the purchase is actually made I do use, it is then paid off immediately. You can see in this month that this is very much the case regarding holiday gift purchases, which definitely required some upfront planning in prior months. And finally, step 8 is to enjoy your money. It is really crucial to enjoy the fruits of your labour. If you really are consistently following the previously mentioned steps, then you're doing a great job and you should enjoy the rest of your money. The beauty of budgeting like this is not to be frugal. It's that once you've done steps 1 to 7, you know that you really are in the clear to spend what is left over on whatever you want. The American Psychological Association emphasizes the importance of balanced spending for mental well-being. Whether it's dining out, hobbies, or a small trip, this ensures you enjoy life while staying financially responsible. That's all well and good, but the next step is arguably the most important of all, and that's how to actually improve upon these inputs that are going into your budget. How do you spend less, make more, and not change your quality of life at the same time? I've covered 7 spending habits that are stopping you from maximizing this in the video linked here. Thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one.